Is Donald Trump going to threaten to sue Newsweek? Check out this particular story.
It's red hot. According to what we have seen, Newsweek is going to report tomorrow this remarkable detail about Donald Trump and the Russian government. Newsweek has reported, as far as we understand it, going to report tomorrow that after Donald Trump publicly insulted the Khan family, the family whose son was killed in Iraq, when that happened, Russian government officials who had been, busy hacking documents and trying to influence the U.S. election, they briefly freaked out after Donald Trump insulted the Khan family because the Russians assumed, once that happened, that Donald Trump would be forced to drop out of the race. According to Newsweek's reporting, the Russians' assessment of that political problem, they were worried that that fiasco with insulting the Khan family made Donald Trump appear psychologically unsuitable for the presidency, that was something he would never be able to politically come back from, and he would be forced to drop out of the race. Newsweek further reports that, briefly, because the Russians thought they were going to lose Trump as basically their chosen candidate in the election, the Russians stopped at that time. They temporarily stopped feeding hacked emails and documents back out at the U.S. to try to influence the election. Basically, the idea is that if it wouldn't benefit Trump anymore, if Trump was going to be replaced by Lord knows who, well, maybe that wouldn't be so good to Russia. So they held tight for a little bit, stopped leaking hacked documents back into the U.S. market when they thought that Trump might be about to be thrown out of the race. The Newsweek report that's due tomorrow also discusses Donald Trump's distrust of American intelligence, specifically about Russian hacking of the DNC, Russian hacking to influence the election. Newsweek will report tomorrow that U.S. allies in Western Europe are worried that they won't be able to trust Donald Trump as president if he's not believing what intelligence tells him. Now, this is the part where I'm going to quote directly from the Newsweek article. This is what we've got from them that I can quote you directly. A former British official says, quote, "A lot of people are now trying to connect the dots of all the data in the intelligence files to try and understand Trump. There certainly are a lot of conspiracy theories being bandied about, but no question there's a lot of concern about what's going on in Trump's head and whether we would be able to work with him." Eichenwald reports at Newsweek, quote, "Officials in Western Europe say they are dismayed that they now feel compelled to gather intelligence on a man who could be the next president of the United States, but they believe they have no choice. Moscow is seen as a direct threat to their interests, both in its aggressive efforts to reshape global alliances and its power to inflict extreme damage in Western Europe. For perhaps the first time since World War II, countries in Western Europe fear that the American election, should Trump win, could trigger events that imperil their national security and do potentially irreparable harm to the alliances that have kept the continent safe for decades."
Now, that piece that she just read, Trump is paranoid enough, and when he reads that particular part, he's going to go up the wall as far as his paranoia is concerned, and it's going to create a problem between the United States and its allies. And all because he has gotten sucked in by Vladimir Putin, who has stroked his ego, if not his manly parts, in order to get Trump to take similar positions that Putin has.
Imperil their national security and do potentially irreparable harm. Western European spy agencies collecting intelligence on Trump to try to understand that, what they perceive to be that threat to them about his potential election. This is the third investigative bombshell in a series of them from Newsweek and their investigative reporter, Kurt Eichenwald. It'll be out in full tomorrow. Those excerpts we just read, we've got those exclusively tonight. We'll be right back.
All right, so, Trump is creating, I'm not even going to say ripples, he's creating so many tidal waves across not only this country, but across the world that this, hopefully, with the next 5 days, and the majority of this will be over.